Well, even Colorado, far from the southern border, is bracing for big changes when it comes to immigration. You will remember this video. This is out of Aurora, Colorado, just outside of Denver, where a group of Venezuelan migrants allegedly took over an entire apartment complex. This really became one of President Trump's main sticking points when he was still on the campaign trail. So many residents in the sanctuary city of Denver, which is one of the highest populated migrant cities, really now wondering how Trump's executive orders could really impact their city. So joining me now to discuss is a reporter at Axios Denver, Estaban Hernandez. Esteban, thank you so much for your time here. First of all, what do you think the impact will be of this new administration on illegal immigration in Denver specifically?
Thank you for having me. So the immediate impact we're having is the mayor is essentially reiterating his support for immigrants and immigrant communities. He's mentioning that the city won't be cooperating with federal authorities, with specifically with federal immigration authorities. And he is talking about how some of the steps that the city can potentially take to protect them. He hasn't provided a lot of specifics, but he's essentially preparing for the worst if some of these raids do happen here in the city. But his message has been fairly consistent, which is that the police aren't allowed to cooperate with ICE, and there's a state law that specifically prohibits state and local officers from arresting or detaining individuals as part of federal authorities. So I think the city is doing its best to sort of remind both residents, the public, and migrants who are here of some of the rights that exist in the city.
And officials are preparing. When Alex was just doing his report, we heard some sound from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. And there is reporting that some Chicago neighborhoods, are not only bracing right now, but have been preparing ahead of, Trump retaking office. Is the same thing happening there in Denver, in Colorado as a whole?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think immigrant communities became aware, obviously, after President Trump's re-election, there was a lot of communication about what some of the steps could be taken to protect some people. Mayor Johnston here in Denver, for example, recently said that he doesn't believe that the city buildings would necessarily provide sanctuary the way that some churches have in the past. But again, he reiterated that there are things that are coming that may not be able, that the city doesn't necessarily have an answer for. And I know that the immigrant communities, there's been a lot of these know your rights classes that have been taken up, and the city is specifically trying to it's created these clinics sort of to provide work authorizations for people that did come here. Denver had more than 40,000 people arrive here from the southern border, primarily from Venezuela. And I think the city is taking steps to help them both resettle and be able to work here lawfully so they can be contributing to the community here and potentially, avoid some of those fears about deportation.
Yeah, and I know some of those Know Your Rights clinics are also happening here in Chicago. Esteban, say the raids don't immediately happen because, again, it's full day one of Trump's administration. Nothing has happened so far. If they don't happen immediately, do you think the threat of them is just as effective, so to speak?
Well, I can't speak necessarily to that. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much, but I do know, like I said, that the city and some of the immigration advocates are preparing by providing as much information as possible about the rights that people have when it comes to authorities knocking at your door, when it comes to providing proof of a warrant. I think that those kind of situations they've been ongoing for the last couple of years, and they've definitely ramped up in certain cases. And like I mentioned, I think the biggest thing that the city wants to make clear is that they want to support people who are already here and are trying to contribute to the community at large. But those fears absolutely do
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.